Okay, I am going to make some repair collars for my boiler, the Weeden boiler. I've got some 1/2-inch material chucked up here. I'm going to drill and tap it and then part off some little, basically it's drilled and tapped and they look like little washers. So there ain't much to them. That should be more than enough. And I may have to, I want to turn down the diameter of that too, I think. I don't want it a full 1/2 inch, I don't believe. Here's the boiler, and I want it to fit on here fairly nice. So if I go 1/2 inch, that's quite a bit bigger. So I'm going to cut that down to, I'm going to go 440. So turn that down to 440 too. I'm going to go ahead and tap it before I do that. And this is 1/4 32. Not a 1/4 20. Not a 1/4 20 or not a 1/4 28, but it's a 1/4 20, 1/4 32. It's an extra fine. Looking for my tap guide. Here it is. And I'm going to put a little Molly D on that. It'll get, I'll have to run the tap back through them again once they're put in place, once they're soldered in place, because if you know, you might get solder into the hole, but I'm just going to tap them now. But like I say, they'll be tapped again, or the tap will be run through it again. This will just kind of help start it. Squeaky. Might be because I went a little tight. It's almost, I'm going for a high percentage of the thread. I don't want the thread to be loose. I want it tight. So I'm shooting for about 90% thread. So that's why it's squeaky. So now I'm going to turn that down to 440. Find the tool bit here. Out of all the tool bits I have set up, this will work. Alright. So I want to take 60 thou. Oop, that was too heavy a touch. Light touch there. And we'll take in 60 thou. Like that. Part off tool. Narrow part off tool. Now the side that is going to go down going against the boiler, I'm not going to chamfer. I'm just going to chamfer the one side, or hit it with a file, I should say. I kind of wanted a nice square edge that's going against the boiler. And now we're going to go in here and touch. Light one out. And the part off blade is 50. And then I'm going to make them about 50 thou wide also. So I'll go another 50. There's one. Got enough to make two. I should have made it a little deeper because I want to make 4 sight glass. 2 for the sight glass in the front and 2 on top for the pressure, the pop valve, and the whistle. So alright, so now let's crank over another 100. And we'll part off another one. And I lost the other one, darn it. I had it laying here. Oh, here it is, up on top. So I got 2 of them here. Show you how they look on there. So here's the boiler, and they'll be soldered on just like that. The same thing in the front. So we'll just put it in the hole and solder that in place. And then I'll run the tap through because you're not going to get it perfectly lined up with the old threads that are there. So I can need to drill a little deeper and tap some more. Still got the drill laying here. Whoop. And I'll put this drill away now. Like I say, I'm going for about 90% thread. So definitely want to put some Molly D on the tap. You heard it squeak the last one, yeah. Definitely squeak. Need all the help it can get. I could actually not tap it and tap it after it's on the boiler, but this just gives it a start. I'm going to put that tap away. That's a special tap. Special tap just for that. And now we can... Oh! You know what? I could leave it a full ½ inch out here. Instead of 440. Will it be noticeable even? Nope, I'm gonna turn it down to 440 to match the other two. So I gotta go in here and touch and then take a 60 thou cut. Here. Be up here closer. Right. and then tuck. This isn't a critical dimension set. It's not that it's blade, touch, and go over 100. And go over another 100. There you go. So now we are ready to solder them on. Well, just about. I have to deburr them a little bit here on the back side. Just, I want to take the burr around the hole, not so much the outside. So I'm just kind of flat filing the back side of it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do all 4 of them. I'm not so worried about the top side, just the underside, because that's the side that the solder, I'm going to be soldering it in place. I want it to set kind of flat. Okay, one more. One left. One left to do. I know you're not seeing it. But ooh, this one. Come on. There we go. Didn't want to break loose there. Okay. So, and let me see. I'll set you up here. I'll set you up all around the hole. Actually, I'm going to go over to the surface plate here and make room. I hope. All right. Ooh. Yeah. Trying to get you into view with the boiler when I set the boiler on there. Right. We're going to do these end ones first. And I want it so it doesn't wiggle around. So I'm going to take some scrap blocks here and try to kind of capture it so it doesn't wiggle so much. So I'm just going to lay some blocks, a triangle of blocks around it to keep it from moving around so much if I can. Oops. Not having too much luck. Oh, I see why. Because it's on the magnet. I got a mag base here that I'm using. That should kind of hold it there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take some emery paper, clean that up. I'm going to clean it up around the holes. So we've got a good area for soldering. I need to get some cleaner. Better stuff here. Well, let me take it out of here and work on it. Trying to get it clean. Okay. Grab two of the rework washers and some flux. And put some flux on there. Actually, I'm going to put him on. I'm going to put the flux on the little rework washer. And I'll put a little dab on here. I'm just dabbing it on with an X-Acto knife around it. Okay. And we'll lay this on here. Now, I want to get a wet paper towel. I had a jug of water, just plain water out here. Let's see what they done with it. I'm going to run in and wet this paper towel. Alright. Okay, wet paper towel. And what I want to do is I want to kind of wet it down on the side here if it starts to get too hot. Otherwise we will lose a seam. And I don't want to unsolder that and have to resolder it. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Moving it around, ain't I? What I should have did was put some soldering underneath it. think I got solder all the way around it. I'll know when I put it together, because it'll, if it leaks. Get a magnifying glass here. I want to get a magnifying glass and look right there. But I think I do see solder coming out over there. Yep, there's solder there. Okay. You know what I'm going to do on the next one? I'm going to just take a chunk of solder and lay underneath it. I think I've done that last time. Flatten it out. Take a hammer and flatten out the solder. Just hammered it flat. And then I'm just going to take and cut off a couple chunks of it. And I'm going to lay one on one side. And one. Stuck to my finger. Alright, let's see if I can move it around with my X-Acto knife. Right there. You can get a little flux on the washer. On the repair washer. I'm going to lay that on there carefully. There we go. Now I should be able to heat it up in flux, or the solder should run around it. Come on, don't run over that way. All right. And I'm going to take my magnifying glass and look at it. It looks good all the way around. So I will take and run the tap through that now. Oh, and I just put the tap away. Here it is. Put it back in the handle. Got ahead of myself. And move this down here. And what I'm just going to do is just going to run a tap through there. Back through the hole that was already tapped. So I'm just cleaning it out. That one was pretty clean. I've done a 2 or 3 boilers like this. It works out pretty good. I mean, yeah, you can see that it's been repaired. It's got washers on it, but the fittings should fit in there now and fit tight. And then I'll have to make some spacer washers to get them to line up right, unless I'm lucky enough to get them to both line up to each other. You know what I mean? So, get this started. Nope, that one's facing out that way. Let's put it in the other one once. And see. I don't want to over tighten them and then strip them back out and then I'll take them back off again. And that one's facing up, so definitely need to make a shim washer for that fitting. Okay, let's try the other fitting. You'd be so lucky to have one of them work, huh? Nope. Put it in the bottom one once. Nope. So I will end up making washers, shim washers for under that, so that they'll end up like that. And then naturally this one will be, if I can get it started again. Like that and like that. And then a short piece of glass tubes between them. Well, let's put it like that. Let me screw it in. I wonder, that must be about, it ain't much. I wonder if I could take, well, I was going to say unsolder that and move it, but the easiest way is to make a little washer. That's what I did last time, and it worked out. But I see this one is slanted a little bit. I might have to take the hammer and just tap this one down. Let's see. Yeah, this one is slanted up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, take my small hammer here, and I'm just going to maybe this one a little bit too. I want them to go straight across. I'll let a scale on there and we'll see what we got. Well, they're pretty straight now, but they were slanted out a little bit. That's not going to help my situation of them lining up with each other. It just helps, or I mean, it will as far as closeness to the boiler. You know what I mean. It's not going to help my clocking of them. So looks like I need a piece of glass tube. About 1 inch long. So next time I come back, we'll do that. I could solder these two on yet right away too. You've seen how it's done. I mean, there's no magic to it. It's just a matter of not putting too much heat to it, because otherwise if I'd have put too much heat to it, I would have blown the seam out here, or the solder out of here and over here, and we didn't want to do that. Because then on some of them I had to resolder the ends in there. Without a turntable, it's a pain. But if you have a turntable, you can put it on a turntable and heat it and solder it, and it's a piece of cake. That's how they actually make them. Make these boilers. They'll solder this long seam together so they have a tube, and then they put the caps on, and they put it on a turntable, and they had a blowtorch on there, and they just put the solder to it, down the bottom and the top, and it's really neat how they do that. I mean, so yeah, I wish that there was a way to get this back straight without taking this end off. It's got a little bit of a dent there. Somebody dropped it right there, and here. Not me. Wasn't me. So I could make a tool, I suppose, to like a dent puller, and pull that out, you know, so that it would put it down in there, and then I might do that. Or if I put those rework washers on there, I don't know if you're going to notice it. I mean, you'll notice it, but it's not going to be that. Let's see, that one would be the pressure relief valve on the back. The whistle would be in front. So this would be the pressure relief valve, but that'll go there, and then the whistle will go up here on the front end toward the gauge. So I got the two washers made here. So I'm going to cut away here, and the next time we come back, we'll be making alignment washers for the end here to align the fittings up. And then after that, we'll go ahead and make the glass tubes. So until then, catch you later.